It's time for a Thanksgiving story about the TikTok crew. It is Thanksgiving after all. The historic reenactment at Plymouth Rock was supposed to be a peaceful tribute, a respectful nod to the past, a quiet little display for school kids and history buffs. What they got instead was a full-blown theatrical takeover led by a cast of TikTok renegades with no respect for stage direction or time period accuracy. Plymouth Rock had survived centuries of storms, tourists, pigeons, and bad reenactments. But nothing prepared it for this cast. Panda Miles Standish, way too seriously, showed up in an armored chestplate made out of repurposed hot dog pans and declared martial law on the parking lot. Then charged across the clearing like he was leading a battalion of drunk beavers into war. He had Cheetos in his ears and was saluting every tree and shrub like it was an enemy soldier. "Standish defends this land," he bellowed, tripping over a colonial shoe buckle and somersaulting into a haystack while singing the song, "This land is your land." Duska snarled, "Your song didn't come out until 320 years after the Pilgrims arrived, you idiot." Mike, cast as John Smith, though dressed like Miles Standish, arrived in full regalia, helmet polished, boots over-tightened, and a sword at his side like he was ready to take on a revolution, not a reenactment nor a wedding to Pocahontas. He squinted at the horizon like he was scouting for threats. "I don't trust these rocks," he muttered. "They look British." Then came Sue, arriving as Pocahontas, with George Carlin level disgust, stomping forward with her hair flying behind her like it was fleeing the scene. "This is the reenactment? This? I should have stayed home and washed laundry with rocks. It would have been less chaotic. Is this the first Thanksgiving or a psychiatric field trip? Somebody point me to the nearest fire so I can throw myself in it." The crowd roared laughing before she even sang. She gave Mike the flirt that nobody wanted, one long up and down look, and said, "I married this? Christ, I must have been concussed." Mike winked anyway. "Well, you know, ladies." "Shut the hell up. The only thing wet around here is that wig sliding off your sweaty head." Finally, Sue climbed onto the big wooden table, cupped her hands to her mouth, and unleashed the moment of the century. "Your squaw's on the warpath tonight." Full Loretta Lynn, full attitude, full power. Half the crowd jumped to their feet, some clapped, some cried, a woman fainted from joy, and, well, one man dropped to a knee like he had just witnessed the birth of America. Rod, playing the preacher, tried to recover the moment. He stood atop a fake stump and held up a giant Bible, which was actually a hollow prop filled with Slim Jims. "Let us give thanks for this feast and for whatever just happened over there with the warpath." Rod, high as a Bible-thumping chimney, blew smoke out of his nostrils and declared, "The Lord said, 'Good luck. You're on your own,'" flipping open his fake Bible that smacked him in the face. Gail stumbled in next, screaming, "Everybody sit on hot potatoes so your asses stay warm." She shoved steaming potatoes at strangers like she worked for the world's worst spa. People sat, screamed, and jumped up like they were being branded. Gail shouted, "Good! That means it's working." Cindy clapped like she was watching Shakespeare. "You're all doing wonderful." Sherry and Karen were in colonial, screaming match outside in the corner, over the food, of course. "You can't put garlic in stew," Sherry yelled. Karen barked, "Sue just sang Warpath tonight, and you're worried about garlic?" By now, nobody remembered what the original script was supposed to be. There was smoke in the air, hair in the gravy, and someone swore a pilgrim had just pissed behind a hay bale. The reenactment had collapsed into musical hellfire. Center stage, Ed, drunk, sweaty, shirtless. He staggered forward like the ghost of Elvis Presley, crash-landed in a burlap sack. He looked the crowd dead in the eyes, raised a turkey leg like a microphone, and screamed, "Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising." The man clenched, the universe trembled, and Ed blasted out the loudest, longest, most operatic fart ever recorded in colonial reenactment history, perfectly in rhythm with, "And I'm just a hunk of burning love." The noise echoed across the water like artillery. A flock of geese took off. A baby cried. A reenactor fainted into a pile of fake corn, and Panda shouted, "Standish is under attack!" His hips started moving like someone shoved hot coals into his ass crack. Sue screamed, "He's got the devil in his hips." Rod yelled, "That's not the devil, that's gas." And sure enough, boom! Ed launched a beat drop out of his ass that shook the cider barrels. Samantha screamed, "Dad!" But Ed didn't miss an out. Hunka burning love." He spun in a full circle and knocked over the gravy table with his elbow. He kept going, "Burning love." Then he threw his pilgrim hat into the crowd like it was a damn wedding bouquet. Rod whispered, "Dear Lord, that was a Category 3. And that's when it happened. Karen, Rod, and Gail, hit by the shockwave of Ed's explosive finale, shot up onto Plymouth Rock like they'd been launched. And once they landed, something snapped inside all three of them. "The colonial heavy metal trinity," Rod screamed. "Thunder!" Gail screamed. "Ah!" Karen screamed. "Struck!" They jammed like lunatics. Rod grabbed a cereal box, tied rubber bands around it, and shredded it like Angus Young himself had possessed him. He stomped and shook his leg like he was being electrocuted. Karen grabbed an upside-down turkey pan and beat it with a wooden spoon like she was trying to summon demons from the underworld, and started pounding it like she had something personal against cookware. Then she grabbed an upside-down garbage can, climbed on top of it, and started hammering it like it owed her money. She planted her foot on it like a rock star and beat the hell out of both of them at the same time. People in the crowd ducked because she was hitting everything except the beat. Then there was Gail. Lord Gail. Bonnet sideways, apron smoking from earlier. She slapped a washboard against her hip and went at it like she was summoning farm demons from another dimension. Her arm moved so fast it looked like she was trying to start a lawnmower. Bang! And Rod's voice cracked like colonial puberty. "Thunder! You've been thunderstruck!" Gail screamed over Rod's terrible singing. "We sound like a possessed kitchen. If AC/DC heard this, they'd sue our ass, and The Rock would testify." Rod pointed dramatically at the sky and yelled, "This is the spirit of rock and roll." A historian in the crowd yelled back, "No, it isn't. This is a noise violation." Panda, still playing Miles Standish with Cheetos sticking out of his ears, saluted the band with full military pride and screamed, "Standish approves this performance." Nobody cared. Nobody asked. But Panda delivered it like it was a presidential address. Tiffany Hallowell shoved a bonnet off her head and screamed, "Let's do Britney!" and launched into a full-on, "Oops, I did it again" breakdown using a turkey drumstick as a microphone. Tiffany Leftwich was her backup dancer, slipping on a sweet potato and doing an accidental death drop right into some pie. She screamed, "I did it for America!" And Sue yelled back, "You did it for a lawsuit." Sarah reappeared with a mic from God knows where and kicked off her karaoke special with a horrifying version of "And I Will Always Love You." It sounded like a banshee filing taxes. Deanna whispered, "I think my soul just tried to leave my body." Rod started blowing smoke rings and said, "That note could have killed a pilgrim." Duska was not to be outdone. Nope, she stole that mic from Sarah and started doing Hot Stuff by Donna Summer, while twerking on a bale of hay. Then the hay gave up. The bale flattened. Panda saluted her and shouted, "That's the spirit of Thanksgiving right there." Jess, always recording, screamed, "Give me more bad angles," and zoomed in as Duska struck a pose on top of the mashed potatoes. Karen screamed, "We still need that for dinner, Duska." Gail screamed, "No, we don't. This show's been dead since Thunderstruck." Then Karen, Gail, and Rod climbed back on Plymouth Rock for a second round of AC/DC, because according to Rod, the ancestors demanded an encore. Gail fired up the washboard again like she was dragging nails across the soul of rhythm itself. Rod yelled, "Y'all ready for round 2? Karen banged the turkey pan so hard a fork flew off and hit Panda in the leg. Panda didn't flinch. He raised one Cheeto-covered finger in the air and said, "The pain only fuels the art." Then tripped over a butter bowl and fell backwards into a banner that read, "First Harvest Blessing." Cindy was still clapping and screaming, "You're all doing great, just great. We should do this every year." Someone behind her whispered, "God, no." Sherry jumped in next with, "Man, I feel like a woman." While holding a ladle like a microphone, she danced around the fake fire pit like she was hosting colonial drag night. Terry, watching from the side, said, "I'm just here to pick up my husband and daughter and pretend I don't know any of these people." But she jumped away quickly and ran into the bushes. Instead, like she was being chased by a skunk. Ed, fully shirtless now and still singing, shifted to blue suede shoes. Then Terry came out flying out of the cornfield, topless except for 2 fig leaves and a necklace made of stuffing. She screamed, "The first feast was a naked ritual, you cowards," and leapt onto the table doing a slow, sensual dance to nothing but Ed's gas-powered Elvis drumbeat. Jess filmed every second. This is going viral, or we're getting arrested. Maybe both. Sherry was drunk off her ass, holding a wooden spoon like a mic, still screeching Shania, "Man, I feel like a woman." Well, maybe a soaking wet, soggy piece of cornbread at least. Well, at least she was still beautiful, unlike the rest of the parading crew. Ed calmed down and ran for a beer. They'd already burned history to the ground. Plymouth Rock, well, was now just a stage for absolute anarchy. The turkey was loose, the potatoes were seat warmers, and every cast member had snapped like a dry wishbone. This was no longer a reenactment. This was a Thanksgiving purge. Ed was shirtless again. No one remembered when it happened. He was sweaty, flushed, and screaming into a chicken leg like it was a microphone. "I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out." And then like a firework of shame, he launched another beer-fueled fart so loud it knocked a spoon off the table. Rod clutched his chest. I saw the devil leave his body. Karen gagged and yelled, "Put your pants back on. This ain't Burning Man for pilgrims." Gail, already perched on a Plymouth Rock, with a washboard in one hand and a turkey baster in the other, screamed over the madness, "I am woman, hear me roar." Then she got cut off as Samantha yelled, "This is what happens when you don't let women vote till 1920. Then Gail started grinding on the washboard, screaming, "Thunderstruck!" like she was possessed by a colonial demon with a mullet. Rod ripped open his vest like a cracked-out gospel like Hulk Hogan and yelled, "Praise be to whatever this is." He grabbed a jug of cider and waterboarded himself. "I'm baptizing myself in regret." Karen, meanwhile, had taken a pot lid and was banging it against her head, yelling, "Dinner's ready, bitches!" Cindy was still clapping like she was at a kindergarten play. You guys, I am so proud. This is like the Met Gala for trash." Mike, still dressed as John Smith, flipped his hair, which wasn't long, so it didn't move, said, "I get that a lot." Sue, still in full Pocahontas glory, climbed up behind him, grabbed his collar and snarled, "You couldn't get a pity cuddle in a plague house." Then she threw an ear of corn at his back and screamed, "That's for the smallpox, you dumb bitch." Panda, bless his insane soul, was still wearing his Miles Standish outfit, helmet dented, Cheetos in every orifice now, saluting the chaos like a proud war general. "This is how freedom is born." He tried to mount the turkey. The turkey kicked him in the shin and he fell into the potato pit. Cindy screamed, "He's okay. He's rebranding." Then it happened. The music died down. The crowd looked up. There was a hush. Mike, trying to salvage his reputation, or maybe just desperate, slowly climbed up on Plymouth Rock. The wind blew. His cape fluttered. His collar was ripped. His dignity was already gone, long gone. He raised one arm in the saddest, thirstiest, most delusional voice ever heard on American soil. He crooned, "Love on the rocks, ain't no surprise." Someone booed. Gail yelled, "You're the reason love needs therapy." Rod choked on smoke and belched. Karen flashed a turkey leg. Sherry Fate cried into her wine. Sue tossed her wig at Mike like a javelin and screamed, "We didn't ask for karaoke, John Rolfdown." Panda whispered, "Abort mission." Mike kept singing, "Just pour me a drink, and I'll tell you some lies." Terry lit her fig leaves on fire. Sarah screamed, "They're singing again! The curse has returned!" The turkey flew into the crowd. Cindy clapped, and Ed finished the show with one final rumble, dropped to one knee and shouted, "Elvis has left the feast." The crowd exploded. One tourist threw money. Someone screamed, "My pants are wet and I don't even know why." As the curtain fell over Plymouth Rock, one thing was certain. This was the greatest disaster to ever be confused for Thanksgiving. More stories coming tomorrow.